A warm welcome to all our alumni who've joined us today for this edition of the Evolve series, wherein we meet our special guests and, have a chat with them about their journey, their experience, and they share their insights and experience with us for us to have a learning. And if there are any opportunities for us, if it's opening doors for us. So, this is where the session helps us and our alumni. So, today, our special guest is Ms. Sandrine Martin, who's a professional trainer and a success coach, an enthusiastic graduate gemologist with a passion for gems, fine gems, and jewels. Ms. Sandrine has excelled in various consulting and managerial roles throughout this 2+ decades of multifaceted international experience in the gems and jewelry industry. This is about our guest, Miss Sandrine Martin, and with this, we get started with we want to know more about her journey. So Miss Sandrine, now about your global jewelry and defining moments. You have worked across diverse geographies like Europe, Asia, Africa, and you've experienced the jewelry industry through multiple cultural, consumer, and business lenses, each having a different perspective in their own ways. So you've had a truly global journey. What have been the most defining moments in your evolution within the jewelry industry?
Oh, thank you, Miss Manisha. First of all, thank you very much for your invitation. It's a privilege to share time with you today, the GIA community, alumni, and I'm very pleased. Thank you and grateful. Thank you very much. And my journey definitely has been global through Europe, America, Asia, and Africa, and it all started with a spark from my godfather, who at that time was at the head of Gulblin Laboratory in Switzerland. And so he passed on this spark to me. And so just after I completed a master's in sales and marketing in Paris, I moved on and started in Geneva with a prominent Swiss jeweler on the sales floor. And very soon after I started, I was eager to know more about gemstones and also to be able to have the skills to help my clients. And then I started my GIA studies. And from there, I carried on with apprenticeship in Antwerp for diamonds, and then as well as in Beverly Hills for diamonds and fine colored gemstones, and as well as estate jewelry. Then moved to Bangkok for colored gemstones and manufacturing. And over time, I developed deep respect and love for Asian culture, which led me to Yangon in Myanmar. And then there I had the privilege to lead a team of 35 enthusiastic people. And Yangon was a turning point. It really led me into empathy and patience building and developing teams. Then back to Bangkok as sales and marketing manager for Asia Pacific. And then I decided to take a sabbatical to reset and travel, and took studies jewelry design in Paris. And then at that time, also, I started consulting, helping people grow collections and grow their business. At some time, and then at this point, there was a turning point. I had a severe driving accident. The recovery was long, so it really strengthened my resilience and reshaped my perspective in general. From then on, I studied history of art and civilization, and then moved to Africa, which added another layer of depth and perspective with gemstones and fine jewelry, and followed by collaboration with the Swiss Institute, strengthening and developing courses on gems and jewelry. And over time, my wish to share and to grow team became essential. And that's when I led on with coaching and training professionals. So I would say that my journey is a mosaic of diverse experiences, not only internationally, but culturally, and involving different sciences and comprehensive knowledge. And that mosaic is what shapes me today, and it shapes me how I turn up and how I contribute.
Well, then I must say it is one beautiful mosaic artwork that we see in front of us, with that kind of experience, which is also interwoven with a lot of learning that you have had along this journey. So beautiful, and we will get to know more about how it went for you. So that brings me to my next question, that you started from probably learning, and then sales, and then leading a team in that, and again now towards coaching and all. So it's a significant shift from driving business outcomes in sales and consulting to enabling others through coaching and training. Now, which is a very different kind of impact, right? So, this transition from sales and consulting into coaching and training, what triggered this shift, and how did your purpose evolve along the way? Partially, I think you did answer in the previous one that you had this, you felt this urge to share your knowledge with others. But was there a specific trigger for this shift from, say, sales to consulting and coaching altogether?
Oh, yes. No, not really. Actually, thank you for this question. I understand how it may look, or it can look as a shift. For me, I see it more as natural or organic unfolding, both personally and professionally. So, because early on, when I led teams in Asia, it already was not only about growing numbers and academical skills, but it also, I was really triggered and fascinated by the human connection and by developing teams. And then that through line evolved along my careers. And eventually, a few years ago, I went all in with professional training as well as coaching, success coaching, and materialized the craft to give me the proper skill and the solid training, so that I'm now able to build and help professionals going through key transitions, as well as high-level students, and help them with transformative skills, and so they hit targets. So it was more like a real unfolding, I would say. Yeah.
Wonderful.
More than strategic shift.
I understand. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. For the next thing, now, with over 2 decades of experience that you have in this industry, you witnessed a lot of changes, and you have yourself grown and evolved with it personally, professionally, also redefining milestones along the way. So, looking back at your journey of these 2 decades, how has the definition of success evolved for you personally? How does it mean differently now from how it meant earlier, say 10 years back or 20 years back? How has the definition changed for you?
I would say that it's an interesting question. Thank you. I would say that at the very beginning, success was about developing, acquiring in-depth knowledge about gemstones, craftsmanship, and jewelry, and as well as hitting targets. And of course, this matters still. This is still the focus. And yet, along the way, it's also developed about more acquiring the leadership skills and management skills, which is equally important and a bit more subtle. And then along the way, it continues with sharing what I learned through articles and building courses. And today, it's I would say with the success coaching and the professional coaching, it's become a combination, like enriched with all this experience. Today, it has become a combination of all this, so that through this meaningful training, successful coaching, as well as the understanding of craftsmanship, I can deliver and contribute to the gems and jewelry professionals for now and in the future.
Right. So for you, the definition of success has also evolved from meeting the targets to now help other people achieve their targets. That's how it has kind of moved from, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's insightful. When we talk about evolving, the fine jewelry industry itself has also seen a lot of shifts, be it consumer behavior or design sensibilities or retail formats, while staying rooted in legacy and craftsmanship. Now, according to you, what are the most significant shifts you've seen in the fine jewelry industry? your entire stint of say 2 decades or so, and how do you see? So that's first question. What are the major shifts you have seen in this industry? And the second is, how do you see the synergy between tradition and transformation shaping its future?
So, yeah, over the last 2 decades, and I would say especially the last 10 years, the jewelry industry, the fine jewelry industry and gemstones has seen incredible innovations. And so I would say it goes on 4 levels: technical and taste and consumer-wise, like business-wise, as well as the environment. So on the technical side, technologies like microsetting, 3D waxing, and CAD are now common. We are also seeing new materials like titanium, which is strong and light, and through anodizing offer a rich color with rich color palette. On AI is now, of course, entering the scene with the ability to go with design and product development. Then taste-wise, we've seen the consumers moving from the big three into a richer world of color with tourmalines, spinels, garnets, and more. And as well as clear demand for natural gemstones and heated gemstones. Well, obviously lab-grown is part of the scene. And as for jewelry, we see a clear appetite for minimalistic as well as stacker designs and mix and match. This is very much influenced, I would say, by the young generation, the millennials and Gen Zs, and whose values is really around authenticity, individuality, and meaning. And then coming to business, now we have, with the e-commerce, we have this omni-channel excellence coming up. I mean, not coming up, like being the foundation of the current market, with the as well as the social media being trendsetters. It offers the brands the ability to reach clearly, swiftly their audience. And not forgetting as well about AI. And then when it comes to the environmental concerns, sustainability is now a must, and especially again within the new generations who are very aware. And so the brands are now in this position to deliver clear message. So I would say these are the 4 main shifts. And as for your second question, as for the second question, in essence, I would say that the future of the jewelry industry today now lives where innovation and tradition meet and lives at once. I mean, at one all together, and manage to acquire this synergy and harmony between sustainability and tradition. And at the heart of all is emotional intelligence and the ability to build and develop trust and real relationship with a human-to-human connection in a world that has become more and more digital.
Thank you so much for this. You mentioned about something in this response, and that actually brings me to my next question. One of the qualities, apart from trust, which always comes out as the winner and the topper as far as working in this industry, is you mentioned something about emotional intelligence. So, in an industry specifically like ours, where purchases are often deeply emotional, symbolic, part of the family tradition or tradition, the human element becomes just as important as a product knowledge and sales skill. So in this high value industry, how important is the emotional intelligence? How important role emotional intelligence plays in building this long-term client relationships?
Yeah, as you say, it's always been very important within the jewelry industry, and nowadays with this highly technology-oriented world, it's probably even become more. And it's really how we can show trust and build loyalty as well as repeat business. And so when let us very fast look at the 4 elements of the 4 pillars of emotional intelligence. As you know, they are self-awareness and self-management, which allow us to be aware of our own emotions and how others perceive them, or how we may appear when we are going through these emotions. And then the next 2 are social awareness, in other words, the ability to read the rooms, to sense the emotions. And finally, the relationship management, which allow us basically, in other words, it's the ability to build long-term relationships. And research actually shows that salespeople and who have been trained in these 4 pillars tend to be more customer-centric approach. They have the ability to resolve stress much easier, to resolve conflicts easier as well. They also tend to take rejection not so personally. And because they become more creative and more open to the room, they also get this ability and the agility to propose creative ideas that clients wouldn't have had. So I would say that not only you can build long-lasting business, but you can also build long-lasting human relationship, not only with your clients, but with your colleagues, your suppliers, your managers. And not only that, it's also one of these skills that will make you AI-proof in a digital environment. And it's an easy one to acquire. Anyone can acquire through training and awareness. So good news.
Wow, wonderful. The 4 parameters for the emotional intelligence, and also how does it make us AI proof? That's something really insightful that we get to see from here. Thank you so much for that response. Now, according to you, how has the role of storytelling in selling fine jewelry evolved since you began your career? And how can brands use storytelling, that is drawing on gem history and culture specifically, that's also like your expertise, to elevate perceived value today of a jewelry?
Yeah. When I started, I would say that storytelling was a nice touch. And nowadays, it's especially amongst the large brands, it's become a must-have. It's the touch that will make, actually, it's also shown that the most financially successful brands are the best, are the ones who are investing most in storytelling. It is what storytelling is, we could say that it is what transforms a single commodity into meaningful, and when you create feelings and emotion in your clients. And here, with gems and jewelry being so naturally rich in history, emotion, heritage, symbolism, I would say that we have a strong advantage. So we no longer, I'm sure you've all heard that line, that every gem has its own story. And so from that, we can easily spark up from that and create the emotions. Either, let's say, if you take an example, you no longer sell the gem, you tell about its journey, its energy, its symbolism. Or you may decide, another example, you may decide like for a provenance, instead of having just a highlight on a certificate, you may decide to make it into a true character of itself, and then it's becoming alive. And then when you have that, we attach it to human values like love, harmony, peace, freedom, and this. And then we deliver it with a strong packaging, events, pop-ups, deliverables, and then we close the loop, the cultural heritage of your company, as well as aftercare. So definitely, I would say that storytelling today is what will set you apart. And if you do not have a good story, the market will create one for you. So we should get encouraged to claim our values and what we stand for, and what our clients also, how our clients can connect with us through this delivering.
Absolutely. Like you said, every gem has a story, every jewelry piece has an emotion around it, and the way we connect, the way we are able to communicate with our clients about their emotions, I think that makes the whole difference, and helps them also decide on which jewelry to buy and what to go for. Thank you so much on that. My next question is about what you are currently doing. So through your work in coaching and capability building, you have closely seen both the potential and the gaps that exist in the industry, and the sales team probably, because not everyone will be an efficient storyteller for sure, or not every salesperson is able to make that connect with their client. So you have developed a holistic coaching program. What are the key pillars that professionals in the jewelry industry need today to truly grow? That's the first part. I think I'll stop at that and then move on to the second part of the question.
So I would well, coming back on following on with your questions and the storytelling. Now it's to truly grow, the brand should be clearly defined, and stand out with a clear identity that speaks with your client. And here, luxury is rooted on long-term vision. So the story also must be around deep heritage, not just following fast-going trends. And so that would be the first probably pillar. And then the second one is creating omni-channel excellence in this digital world. It's just not just a boutique, but the product is selling all over. So it can create some pressure, but this is something that's to be aware of. And then have a real transparency about the products and, coming back to the environment concerned. So this is, I think, the third pillar. And the fourth thing that I see is, to be able to have a clear strategy, financially secure, and be able to react with agility and adaptability to the market, which is constantly and very fast growing at a strong pace. So I would say these are the four pillars.
Wonderful. And you're right, agility is actually so important these days with so many new trends and so much evolving in the industry. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, as a GG and now you yourself an educator, how do you see the role of education is evolving in shaping the next generation of industry professionals?
Yeah, to me, my journey with GIA has been very transformative. And not only it has brought me the academical understanding, it's also revived a spark that I originally had. So I would say that education is also about having this trigger, be able to trigger this spark. And then not only that, the strong alumni community is very important. And over the years, it has become good friends and long-lasting relationships. And then looking ahead in the gems and jewelry education, it's looking at how the industry is continuously growing and operating. The education is also blending this academic science and real-time market fluency, as well as a push toward efficiency and ethical concerns. So basically not only developing competence, but growing professionals that are aware and have this ability to adapt with agility. And so it's also elevating confidence, shaping trust, and not only as good professionals, but as good human beings, and be able to relate in any team and any cultural environment, which with the gem and jewelry industry, we have this chance because the gems are all over. And so I would say that in that sense, GIA is making a wonderful presentation for all of us.
Thank you. And that's very well said. So, good human being, I think what we say is, of course, who are able to build trust with their clients, who are themselves well educated and are also in a position to educate their clients to make the right buying decision, probably with a lot of transparency and trust. So, yeah, thank you so much on that. When we are talking about a role of education in shaping these professionals, industry professionals, what is that one very important piece of advice that you would like to give to young professionals entering this industry to stay relevant, more so because this industry is ever evolving, and more so rapidly of late?
Thank you for that question. I will not give an advice. It will be more like an invitation, and so that one can explore opportunities. And so the first one is do something that we love and have passion, and be curious and commit to long life learning, and develop the ability to strengthen presence and with other community as well, not only in the luxury and jewelry industry, but as well as with other industry, which will give ideas, make your mind malleable, and give fresh avenues. Then the other thing is, I would say, just know your strengths and develop your strengths, and at the same time, be aware of your blind spot and get a leverage from that. And lastly, work for peace. And with the ethical environment is no longer a trend, it's a must-have. So every little drop, as tiny as it is essential. So basically, yeah, that would be basically the idea.
Wonderful. Yeah. Being ethical and knowing yourself better in terms of your strengths and weaknesses, very important things that one must do all this analysis before they actually venture into not only just in this industry, maybe any industry, any career. It's good to know enough about yourself. Thank you. So that brings me to I'm kind of done with my questions, but I have something else that I would like to share. We would like to know a little about these from you. So Ms. Sandrine, tell us a little about these designs.
Thank you. Well, these designs, well, the centerpiece, the earrings, and actually both in the center are titanium, and the other ones, they are all created with. I don't know which side you see. Well, some are. It's a combination of gemstones that I got from natural gemstones from Burma, and out of this I created designs. The pair of earrings that you're pointing right now, the jade, for me is about Earth and the respect that we owe to planet Earth and the different colors. Then moving up, I've called that one leopard. Coming from my time in Tanzania, in the bush. Then the other one is, I call it mudra. It's a dance, the one with the spinel and the gemstone. It's a dance because in life goes with cycles, and I believe we should grow with resilient and dance through life cycles. Then the middle one, with the one that you're pointing right now, it's about the changing of season as well, and being resilient, but just like the strength of titanium, resilient and strong and agile, light and weight like titanium. The other one, the brooch, the pin that is right below, is, I've got that one from, the saying is beauty lies in the eyes of the viewer, and every situation. Well, okay, another way to say that is the glass is half full or half empty. So we can go through life constantly unhappy or constantly happy. It's always about us. And then when you show the articles, I first wrote on turquoise because it's a gemstone that has inspired many civilizations for the very same reason, because of its beautiful color, and that reminds us both of the sky and of the ocean to some others. And so I derived it into 2 articles because I'm very drawn into history of civilization, and Egypt and South America is are amongst my favorites. And that's how I explored around it. And these articles actually, the ones that have been published, do not draw too much on color, but the original one that I was working on derive very much more on the color, and this was more experienced within the actually also the Mongol Empire. So that's what I could say about this.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I think one last thing that's about these are about your coaching programs, right?
The 7 gems method is really about enriched from my work with professionals. I came up with I decided to build this 7 gems method, which is about elevating the value and the assets of personal and the worth, and then deriving it easily in any team. So it's holistic by design and modular by choice, and it helps teams and individuals to develop themselves and have the ability to strengthen resilience, to create a bold confidence and communicate clearly within the team and with clients, have the ability also to listen to the room, and then last but not least, to trust in themselves and in the process so that results compound.
Great. I think a very complete program if someone wants to get trained, in this industry. What I will now do is stop sharing my screen, and we will go to the attendees' questions, if there are any questions posted. And I do see a couple of them. One question from one of our alum, Mr. Vijay. I'm not sure. It's very specific. So let's see. He specifically wants to know that in South India, would you suggest to have a new metal jewelry like titanium jewelry?
In South India, I wouldn't be able to answer that question. The way I would, specifically for South India, what I can express according to my knowledge of titanium is it's a very complicated material to work. And but I'm sure that with the right technique and acquiring the right knowledge, nothing is impossible. So if you put your mind and action toward it, and you get the proper training, and over time, and definitely this one requires patience and resilience and investments, both in energy and financially. But everything is possible. If you have that wish, you can grow from that. It's not a specific material that you have to do only in one place in the globe. But it's not an easy one to work. But nothing is easy, so we can do it anyhow. So.
Right. And I think there'll be a little bit of understanding of your client's taste and preferences would also help, where you will have to experiment a little bit to understand if your clients are really liking that. So thank you for that question, Vijay.
But actually, sorry, if I can just add this little one, a little bracket. When you mentioned about customer taste, of course, it's always the very start to meet clients where they are. What I want to say about titanium is that it gives the opportunity to create very large pieces that are very light in weight. So you can go with, let's say, heavy, light brooch or big earrings that are very light in weight. So this taste is quite all over, I would say.
Great. So that's, I think what you were saying is a global trend also. Thank you. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
Vijay also has another question about the 7 gem training fees for the training module. I think I'll share your details with Mr. Vijay, and probably he can connect with you on this. Thank you so much, Vijay, for this query. I have one question myself, Ms. Sandrine, and that is in this coaching program, is it an individual coaching program, or is it that you coach corporate clients wherein it's a team of about 15-20 people? How does it work, and how long is the training?
It's well, so that's how I mentioned it's, when I say holistic by design and modular by choice, then I am coaching one-on-one individual clients, and the coaching generally, it depends on the goal and on the reasons why the persons are coming to me, but it can go anytime between 6 or 8 months, or sometimes 6 or 8 weeks, or sometimes 6 or 8 months with gaps in between, so that the process is digestible. And I'm also working with specific workshops, and there I adapt either 1 or 2 or 3 modules depending on the demand. And this I'm doing with teams as well. So it's totally possible to bring it alive, to respond and answer quickly to any kind of needs, whether it is in a small company or in a corporate or individually. Basically, the idea of this approach is to upgrade the inner game of each, and so that the outer results continuously perform.
Absolutely. And yeah, they also evolve, while they are at job or at work or even in their business. So thank you. We have one more question from another alum of ours, Ms. Aparna, who says, how can a brand position and storytell if they offer both natural and lab-grown gemstones or diamonds?
From my experience, it's a choice. From the brands I know and from the companies that I'm working with, it's truly a choice, either or. So it would be a tricky one to answer. It probably depends very much on your market and how you are already settled, and the kind of trust that you have been able to build, because lab-grown diamonds and diamonds look alike. So it would probably definitely depends on the kind of trust you have already been able to build with your existing client, and then go into lab-grown diamond. So I don't know if I'm answering the question, because I don't know, sorry, the clientele of this person. I'm not sure I've answered properly your question, I hope.
I'm sure there is some insight out of this, and like you said, it's a choice. It's a choice that you make after you've really understood your clientele well, and you have decided that you want to do both. And how would you position your?
Yeah, you don't want to diminish your image, if into brackets, if I may put, by going into lab-grown diamonds if you have already the trust established. So perhaps you want to go with another brand, or you want to create something completely different, so that you are able to answer both markets, but at the same time your clients will not mix your image. I would probably go with that one.
Sure. And yes, that's how most of the times it is, that it's a decision, like you said, it's a decision you make on, and you weigh your pros and cons on whether what is it at stake, and what is it that you really want to build on, whether you want to miss out on something, or whether you want to have only one line of jewelry, like it's only natural or only lab grown or both. So it's a very conscious decision that you make, but you weigh all your pros and cons and then make this decision. I think that's something which is very useful. Thanks.
Creating another brand or a complete other brand is probably safe.
Correct. And I think a lot of them are already doing this, wherein they don't want to sabotage one for the other. So absolutely. And thank you for that. This brings us to the end of the session, Miss Sandrine. We've had few questions from our alums, few questions from us, but Thank you so much for doing this session for us, this time zone difference. You have a very busy schedule. You've been traveling across the globe, and in spite of all this, you took out time and did this session for us. So, thanks a lot. Lot of learnings, lot of takeaways. Personally, for me, every session always gives us some food for thought, some learning points, and so has the session done today also. Points in terms of your emotional intelligence and the pillars, when you are a part of this industry. So thank you so much for doing this session for us, Miss Sandrine.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, and thank you, GIA India, for having this Evolve series. It's a beautiful way to make us feel closer. And as you say, I've listened to the other series, and we are learning from each other. So it's a wonderful way to learn from each other and to be able to share across the globe like that. So thank you for having me here and for creating this incredible Evolve story.